realize how many baby frogs you gotta save for a pool. Oh, right here. Turds. Well, you might recognize this is not the normal Cayenne or Elemental or Wagon or Honda in general. This is my sister's Jeep. We trade cars every once in a while. She goes to work in Little Rock. So yeah, I'm in the Jeep today. And Enzo, he quite likes riding in the Jeep. So back on it again. I'm trying to get the groove, start to feel the groove a little bit of getting these videos back out. Yesterday it rained all day long, so I really didn't have a chance to go do anything. And plus, long story short, I didn't record yesterday. But the good thing about being ahead of the schedule, you guys will never know through the editing magic of yeah, my schedule. Anyway, going over to Dad's house, he'll look at the wagon. Blah, 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 wagon, bye. What do you think, Enzo? What's the prognosis? Think this wagon's pretty good? This wagon, okay, up to your standards? You're a good boy? You're a good boy. Okay, so all the progress I've done with the wagon since you saw last. Hey, to the window now. Awesome, no more rain in here. Also, new steering wheel, because I've always wanted a nice steering wheel in a EF chassis. I just never done it. I never went and splurged for it. So I didn't get the quick release, I just got the regular hub. But I like it. It's the 330 millimeter, I think. I don't remember now, but it's a touch smaller than I really would like to have, but it works just fine. Also, if you guys know the problems with this thing when I got it, the key cylinder was destroyed and the wheel would randomly lock because that thing, they just screwed out they drilled out the whole key, whatchamacallit, tumbler. And there was no key in the cars or nothing, so I had to basically make a hot wire system switch panel. So that's what I did. I've got a kill switch, and then I've got the switch panel, so I can kill cat out of the car. And that reminds me, I think it's got kind of a slower start, and it's been kind of weird when it sits for a few days. And I think the alternator may not be doing what it should be doing, because even when it runs for a little bit, it's still not quite up to snuff. I don't know. I'll keep an eye on it. I gotta do some wiring stuff, and I'll show you that here in a minute. But yeah, let me show you. So, power. Okay, the fuel pump kick on. Usually it kicks over a little bit quicker than that, but whatever. You get what you can take on it. But I've got all the other auxiliary switches I can do for whatever, and I eventually will. I bought this switch panel thinking that I could use it for either the Wagon or I could use it for the CRX. And I'll show you what I got for the CRX shortly. But first, let's keep going with the Wagon. So my intention with the Wagon is I want to have it as a cheap seat time car for like autocross or something like that. If there's an autocross coming up, I can just load this thing up, go down to Stuttgart, go run a few laps, and I do my thing. The problem is, it's running a little hot when it runs for a little while. So I was chasing down some issues, and I let it run for a little while, and I realized that the fan was not kicking on at all. Not only was the fan not kicking on, none of my HVAC stuff works, like none of this. And it does have, I did notice at night it does light up, so that works for some reason, but it doesn't have any power. I've tried all the switches. I've tried the switch up here, trying it with my multimeter, trying to get any kind of reading out of it. So I was kind of racking my brains, like, well, whatever, I'll get to it when I get to it. But then I started looking around, and this loom here, it wasn't cleaned up like this, but there was a few wires that are actually broke. You can see here. And this is the chassis harness side of stuff. You can see here this plug. This is one of the plugs for the headlights. You can see it's chewed up and broke for one of the high beams. More broke wires here, and this is the one that goes under here, and that goes to fan switches, AC stuff, I believe, too. There's a few more things on that loom that I need to chase down to why that's like it is. So I will keep on digging around here. I'm probably not going to get to that today, but the reason I was going to show you the front, I did pick up a new radiator for it. And I bought this Koyo because they're actually coming down in price. I think it's like $280 for the brand new radiator. And this is the EF it's a full size for the EF, which I like. If you know anything about me, you know that I don't like the half size radiator on anything. Like I just don't like it. If I have to use it, I will. Like the big Wagon, that's what I was using because it's in the supercharger setup. But I think in my new setup, I'm gonna ditch that thing and run a whole different supercharger setup. So I sent in my paperwork to Craftworks for maybe a sponsorship. I haven't heard anything back. It's been like a week or two. So that's why I'm kind of getting back into things, so I can kind of pick back up where I left off and kind of get that momentum back. So with that said, I picked up the full size radiator for this to put in here. I've got a new radiator. I've got a fan on order. I've got a bunch of fuel pump stuff and fuel things for the CRX on the way. And I will show you that as soon as I can see it. It should be in the next couple days. I'll kind of refresh you guys. I'll know where I was. The CRX, here we are. I was chasing down wiring issues for forever. I had the element harness, which is back in the corner over there now. And it was fine, and I could get it to kick over, but I wasn't getting spark. I was just having issue after issue, and I was getting tired of messing with it. So I went ahead and just dove right into it and got the Wire complete engine harness. This is the high-end model, and the reason I really like this model is for this right here. This comes right off the harness, has your chassis plugs, but this one's actually pre-wired to go right into the Haltech. So I don't need this pigtail system and all this other stuff. It's not a huge deal, but in the end, it makes me a lot happier. It's a lot cleaner setup. It's a lot easier to go through. Makes life tremendously easier. So I went with that. Was still working on the fueling system. I was trying to come and kind of pin down what I want to do with the fuel system. So I went ahead. I knew that I was going to need a new fuel rail, so I went ahead and picked a K-Tune because it's easier, looks good. It's got the AN fittings like I want to do. I'll probably put the fuel pressure regulator right here, like most people do. I just kind of had that put together because I was bored one day. And the fuel lines, right now I have it ran up here along the rail here where the brake lines are. And what I'm going to do is probably build a plate here that'll house my fuel pump and my filter and some kind of bracketry here. And it'll all come out of the fuel cell, which is right here. The reason I have it oriented like this is that way I can still use my factory fuel fill. And it goes right into here. I've got the fill, the vent, fill, vent. I can just cut this off, run a hose to it on either side, and that's in a good happy spot, and it mounts here, and it has plenty of clearance underneath. Plenty of clearance underneath for the drive shaft, as you can see there. And I can actually go up a little bit higher with it if I clearance that right side a little bit, which I will do. I've got the diff out of the car right now because I was working on some stuff, and I've got to redo the back. What I was working on in the back here is I installed these True Heart lift springs, or lift coilovers from the CRV that I got out of the junkyard. And you can kind of see the appreciable gap here. About 5 fingers. It's about where I want it to be. That feels good, looks good. I think it's gonna be a pretty good spot for it. May do some more clearancing here and there, and obviously it's not at its final resting height because I don't have the axles in there. And I'll be able to tell more when I get the axles in how I want to orient the height and the diffs placement and everything else. But a lot of progress has been going on here. I really wanted to get the fuel stuff set up and sorted out before I started doing the test fire. I want to get the fuel system mostly finalized, at least like a Mark 1 of the fuel system. Like I said, I'm not 100% satisfied with this placement. This is just what I have in my head right now. And if it's just a Mark 1 just to get it started and running, I'd be okay with that. And that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. And here is the main cheese. This is the Wire complete and utter chassis harness, front to back chassis harness for a CRX. It's for any 88, no, this is 9091. It's got all the plugs. You have your P1 or your P101 plug there for the chassis harness. Switches, harnesses, should be. Yeah, here's a can. Oh fuck yeah, that's what I was looking for. Can display here with your power, ground and power, your can high and low. And that'll be actually so I can put my keypad in there, which I got a Haltech keypad, which is at the house, which I forgot to bring. But, yes, that makes me happy. I was going to check that while I was here. Another switch panel, because you know I love switches. Bitches love switches. I don't know if I'm going to put that up there or where I'm going to put this panel, but I'll figure that out later. And here's the big kahuna that I'm really excited about. This is a PDM. The short and too long didn't read version of what a PDM does. No more fuses, no more relays. Everything's ran through here electronically. If you have a out of voltage current, it'll just switch it off and you can see through here what's going on. And you can reset it. This plugs in and does everything. It runs, what P14 stands for is 14 inputs and outputs, I think, or 7 and 7. I can't remember. I'm not 100% sure right now off the top of my head. But that's way you can run all your auxiliary stuff, all your headlights, turn signals, brake lights. All the stuff will be ran through here, and you can add new stuff to it, like your switch panels, your buttons, all that other stuff. And then you just, you program it here through your USB cable to your laptop. And what you'll do there is you'll mount that in a nice central location somewhere, probably on the firewall up there. Well, I'll build some kind of plate. I did buy this little mounting plate, and I could put it up there somewhere, but I don't know. When I start routing stuff, then I'll have a little bit better idea about that. That's what I really needed, because this is a true to form bare chassis, as you can tell. And yeah, so that's where I've been at. And I'm kind of waiting on parts before I start digging into it, because the next thing I'm gonna do is all the fuel stuff. That has been a longer video than I expected to make today. But that'll be part of the daily content stuff, is when I start getting more parts in, as I start rolling stuff in, start building more, start getting stuff together. And while we're here, let's go look out back right quick. I want to show you guys something that might tug a few heartstrings. Oh, the wagon. I know Enzo misses it, and I miss it terribly too. Enzo, we both miss this, huh? So I have a lead on a transmission coming in, so hopefully if it comes in, Ronnie may be bringing it. If not, I'll have to go pick it up. But yeah, that's all I'm waiting on right now. This thing. Oh, how I miss it so. I'll be back in it soon enough. Not terrorizing the trails and whatnot. But it's a pretty fitting spot to end this one on. I will catch you guys in the next one. I don't know what the next one's going to be. Hopefully there'll be some parts coming in and I can start installing it. I've got a drift event coming up in a few days. 2 days? What's today? Yeah, 2 days. So I know the next day's content's going to be drift event stuff. So, till then, peace out.